Unsolicited advice.
What you whispering for? Yo, it's unsolicited advice. Take it or leave it. Everybody thinks they're special. Everybody thinks that they're special. Never understood it, but everyone thinks that they're special. Now, I get it. When you look in that mirror, you do want to feel like you're special. When you put on that outfit that you bought and you feeling good, you want to feel like you're the only person that matters on the planet in that moment. But let's be real. It's not enough to go around. Or maybe it is. And what I'm going to talk about today is pretty much the dating game. You know, the price of dating nowadays. And is there enough to go around? Is there enough quality, I should say, to go around? But as of right now, it's a seller's market for men more than women, in a way. So with more single women and fewer available men, men become the scarce resource. Meaning they can be more, selective and have more dating options. Men, they may receive like significantly more attention, or interest, especially on apps. So, because it's not that many, they're either locked up, dead, gay, or you just have a lot of deadbeats. So it's a seller's market for men, really, if you're not any of those things. This could lead to some men becoming less committed, though, more nonchalant, or even exploited in dating dynamics. You also have that as well, because the thing that people forget about being single is that you're single, and you got to think about it. It's frowned upon to be single. It really is, because people look down on you like you're not supposed to be out here dating. You're supposed to be, somebody needs to lock you down. Why are you out here doing whatever you want and talking to whoever you want? So yeah, it'll make you less committed because you're single. Especially men. It's frowned upon if a man is single. Women look at it like, oh, you just out here trying to talk to everybody. Oh, you look like you got a bunch of hoes. Oh, you just fuck anything. So it makes you look nonchalant, when maybe you're just trying to make sure that you find the right person. So for a woman to be single, it's a little different. It's a little different because with women, it's very rare. They usually have somebody. So when they are single, most of them are pretty much doing the same thing that guys are doing. They're out here mingling, having a great time, being nonchalant, being less committed, and being exploited on these dating apps, or just in general, online, especially if they're showing their body off online. They're being exploited. So it's the same thing. Don't ever think that, it's just the guys. No, it's girls too. It's both of us, both of them. So you could think of it as a reversal of supply and demand. Men are the hot commodity, and women kind of have to compete harder in a way. So that's why you see a lot of this online as far as women competing for attention. They get their bodies done. They show off their bodies, and if they are not gay or homosexual, I'm assuming that they're doing it for the men because they're showing their bodies off. They know who's going to like it. I mean, OnlyFans is a perfect example. They get on there and they show their bodies, and these men are paying them millions of dollars. So they have to compete harder because the quality of men, like if you're a good quality man, it's far and few. It's not that many. So they're trying to catch that 1%, that 1% man that has everything that they're looking for. That has the money, that has the stability, that has the looks, that has everything that most of them ask for. So I think it's more emotional labor on women. So I think they invest more effort in appearance, and or like emotional work to stand out. You know, men are more likely to pursue. You know, they're told to initiate. That women aren't supposed to initiate, but you're seeing a lot more women pursuing and initiating the conversation. You know, and you have a lot more women that are willing to forgive toxic behavior. So for some, they feel pressure to settle for less in a way, because it's like, God, I can't catch a guy. Okay, let me lower my standards a little bit, you know, because I ain't catching no fish out here. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying these are the things that happen. So they tolerate the red flags, or they, you know, the ghosting or the lack of effort from men. So dating apps, I think dating apps, they favor men more than women. You know, men get more matches, they get faster replies, and a steady stream of interest. Women might struggle to be noticed, or may feel like they're competing for attention. And most women ain't trying to compete for no attention. Most of them feel like they the one, and if you ain't figured it out, then they don't need to be with you. You know, nothing personal. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Most girls ain't gonna compete. Women often report disappointment with the quality of their matches too in those apps. And you know, they got their T app now, so that's definitely changing the whole dating game, where they can go on there and they can put your face up and figure out if you're a red flag or not. It's like, why would you let another woman influence whether you want to talk to a man or not? Because they could be a great guy. All the woman's got to do is just make up some story and put it on there. You know, it's a lot of stuff that they could do to manipulate, because you have to understand, you're still competition. So all you women out here that want to sit here and champion other women, you're still competition. Most of them secretly be trying to get you out the way. So if all they got to do is just say something negative about a guy to get you to quit talking to them, they back in the game. You think you can't trust guys, you can't trust these females. Always remember that. Your biggest competition as a woman is that woman. And sometimes these gay dudes that y'all be wanting to keep around as friends, they're competition too. They want the same thing you want too. Come on now. Casual relationships, you know, that I think it makes a lot of people decline commitment. So men may feel less urgency to settle down, you know, especially if they're not emotionally mature or invested. You know, of course, they tend to get commitment phobia, you know, kind of breadcrumbing you. You know, I'll give you a little bit here, a little bit there. Like I've been accused of that, and I admit to it, because I'm all about observing. If something's not right, I'm not going to pull, you know, I'm not going to agree to it. So if I start seeing things that just aren't right, I'm like, no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to do just a little bit, and I'm going to wait to see the reaction to it. And I'm just observing, I'm waiting to see if this commitment is going to be worth it. And it's got me in trouble. You know, I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's got me in trouble a lot of times. And there were so many times where I felt like I should have pulled the trigger and I should have been more committed. But, you know, sometimes I suffer from observing too much and not seeing things that I don't like. Many women might feel like they're being kept as options and not priorities. So you have a lot of that goes on in the dating scene. You know, and that plays a lot into if there's enough out there for us. You know, and then there's like, you know, there's a psychological part, and then there's the cultural fallout from it too. So single women, you know, they a lot of times they experience insecurity, you know, competition, chasing unavailable men. Single men, you know, they deal with ego inflation, where they think that, they're a prize in dating and this and that, until a woman takes them down a peg. Um, so that they have to have a confidence booster, something to boost their confidence in order to even deal with dating and relationships. They're less stable. It's more transactional now. Um, so there's a power imbalance. Everything's transactional. It's like we're not even in a relationship. We're not getting to know each other. We're not building on love. It's all finance. What can you do for me? What can you buy me? Can you take care of me? That's all it is. We spend less time getting to know each other and falling in love with each other, and more of, hey, what have you done for me lately? What are you going to get me? What are we doing this weekend? It's all transactional now. So a lot of times we've seen where this hits home at, and I'm gonna talk about it. So let's take a lot of college towns where college is prominent. So women outnumber men if you're living in a college town, for you young folks. For guys, if it's a church community, you have more female participants there. So it's hard. Like I said earlier, a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago. So if you're in a college town, it's hard for women to find a good man because it's way more women than men. In the church community, it's the same thing. There's more female participants. So let's say if I go up in a church, I find me a new church. I'm a single guy. I don't have kids. If I come to that church on a regular, that's going to open up competition for certain women, and they're looking for a nice single man, or a good man or whatnot. So I could go in there and I could have a field day. I could have the pick of the litter, old Mabel coming over here and bringing me a cake that she baked, and this one over here is inviting me over her house for Bible study on Wednesday. And this one over here wants me to be with her to work with the youth in the church. So church is perfect for single men, of course. If you're single and you don't have kids and all that other stuff, oh yeah. But most urban dating scenes where women report men having the advantage is perfect for men, but it's not good for women. Most of the time women have to outsource. You literally have to catch a guy where you can check off your checklist. So I know this sounds one-sided a lot. This conversation is sounding one-sided, but a lot of it is just true nowadays. So a lot of women are going to say, oh yeah, he knows he has options. Or guys won't commit because they don't have to. In those situations, why they got to commit when they can just move from girl to girl in these places. And then the one that they love saying is the good ones are all taken. There's some truth in all of that, but you can't think about that. You have to think about who you are and what you have to do, or what you need to do to make sure that you're finding the right person for you. You can't worry about this and this and that, because if you're doing your homework, or you're doing what you're supposed to, you're gonna find the right guy. You are. You just can't do some of the things that and same thing for guys. You can't keep doing the same thing that hasn't been working. You have to change it up if you want to find the right person. Because if you keep doing the same thing, of course, you're going to get the same result. So when single men or women are scarce, the power balance shifts, into the other gender's favor, but not necessarily for the better. So a lot of times it leads to overconfidence or laziness from men or women. Exhaustion and disappointment. Um, and everything's built around quantity and not quality. That's another thing too. There's so much of it that you don't know where the quality is now. You know, back in the day, you knew who was good and who was bad. Nowadays, you don't know. You don't know because there's so much of it and it's everywhere. So, you know, you have to learn to maintain your standards in this environment that we live in, you know, and don't worry so much about commitment if you're dating, because people are only going to commit to a guarantee. You know, it's just like signing a contract or signing a deal. If you're in the business world, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you're not going to commit to something that isn't sustainable. So just work on yourself. Work on yourself. Better yourself. Take care of yourself. You know, so that way you can be of quality. You can be of, you know, something that someone wants. You know, something that people are going to go after. That's what it's about. You know, you have to just take care of yourself. You know, always be taking care. Even if you got somebody, take care of yourself still. Don't get lazy. A lot of us get lazy as soon as we get in a relationship. You know, we get lazy. We stop taking care of ourselves. We stop doing the things that we were doing. No, you keep working on it. You keep working on it. You keep making sure that you're making yourself of some type of quality, because that's what people want. They want good quality. But yeah, the dating scene out here is fucked up. But that's just my unsolicited advice. You can take it or leave it. Doesn't matter.